The Gemini spacecraft was the first manned space capsule that used a new power source called the fuel cell. But why not use solar cells instead? We're going to take a deeper look on the next Vintage Retrospect. While the Mercury spacecraft used batteries for its 15-minute flights, the newer two-man Gemini space capsule needed to push manned space exploration to not only new heights, but also new lengths. These Gemini missions would take astronauts to not only orbit, but also up to 2-week-long missions to test out human survivability in space. Under contract with McDonnell Aircraft, the NASA's Manned Spacecraft Center chose General Electric for the development of a new power system to extend power requirements beyond batteries. But wait, why didn't they choose solar panels instead, since they were using them anyways on unmanned probes such as the Pioneer, Tyros, Telstar, and Explorer? Well, engineers pointed out that solar cells still needed heavy batteries to facilitate a usable electric charge, since solar charging rates are not linear with the discharge rates of the batteries. Additionally, batteries weighed so much to the point that the systems that they powered didn't justify the weight of the battery. Imagine a phone battery being 3 times larger than the size of your smartphone right now, making your phone super inconvenient to carry around. So the development called for a new technology known as the PEM, or Proton Exchange Membrane Fuel Cell. This would use hydrogen gas and oxygen as the two main sources of alkaline interaction. The way a fuel cell typically works is when electrons move from the anode side, being fed hydrogen, and completing a circuit through the cathode side, being injected by oxygen. There's a bonus byproduct during this electrolysis process that takes electrons, protons, and oxygen through the oxygen cathode side, which creates H2O, or water, for use as drinking water for the spacecraft. The fuel cell for the Gemini spacecraft is located right behind the retro adapter section, right behind here. This back section is also called the equipment adapter section. The first flight to use the Gemini fuel cell was the Gemini 5 mission, which occurred on August 21st, 1965. It was actually the 3rd crewed flight of Gemini, and this mission was to test out the fuel cell's performance for the 7-day duration mission. I want to also add a fun fact about the fuel cell's potential uses that were actually considered during the vintage days of space. Firstly, considered using these in farming equipment like tractors, and of course seeing if cars could utilize these as a way to cleanly burn fuel. Of course, this never became a modern day reality, but maybe newer fuel cell technologies could reintroduce this concept. Let me know in the comments if you have any ideas. So, what would you like to see next on Vintage Retrospect? Like, comment, and subscribe so that others can learn more about the first fuel cell flown in space. Now, before I head out, thanks for everybody for filling out that poll. And what I asked was if I'm being nostalgic enough on here, and 88% of you said yes. I'm your host, Chad, and I will see you out on the launch pad. Gemini fuel cell for the spacecraft is located right behind the retro adapter section, right